Hello, second grade Smarties, and welcome to Lesson 21 in our Reading Module 1, A Season of Change. So we are going to go ahead and get started by talking about our big pizza question that we're trying to answer for all the books that we are reading about. So our first big pizza question is, how does change impact people and nature? Our pizza slice question, this is the question that we can answer after a few lessons talking and exploring through the book, and that is, how does weather impact leaves in fall? And our pizza bite question today, we're going to answer this question just today, is what is happening and how do leaves change color? So last week, we introduced the book, Why Do Leaves Change Color? And we talked about what we noticed, so what we saw in the book, and some questions we had about the book. Today, we're going to be talking about what is happening in this book. Now, if we read a book that tells a story, this lesson would be about who were the characters, what was the setting, what was the problem, and resolution. However, because this is an informational book, we are going to be deciding today what the main topic is of the entire book. And so as we are reading this book again today, we are going to chunk the book into groups of pages. We're going to be talking about the four seasons and what happens to leaves during those 4 seasons. So we are going to talk about what happens to leaves in fall, winter, spring, and summer. And as we are thinking about it, and as we are looking at the pages, I want you to find, what do you see over and over again in this book? Because if we see something more than once in a book, that kind of gives us an idea of what the entire book is all about. So as we are reading, I want you to think about what is going on in the book. Now, if you look at this chart, we have our boxes and buttons. Remember, we have our main topic, that's our box, and we have our details, our evidence that goes into the box. So we have our main topic, and we have 4 seasons, right? So we have 4 sections, and we have the page numbers that we can find this information. So we're going to talk about what happens to leaves in the autumn, in the winter, in the spring, and the summer. So we are going to go ahead and get started with pages 4 and 5. It says, look at the leaves. It's autumn and leaves are turning red and yellow, gold and brown. Each type of tree has its own kind of leaves. The colors of autumn leaves differ from tree to tree. Some oak leaves may be brown or yellow, while maple leaves may turn bright red. So what is something that we learned about leaves on that page? We learned... Time for school to start. So we learned that leaves can turn different color, and different trees have different color and shaped leaves. Let's move on to 6 and 7. It says leaves come in different sizes and shapes as well as colors. Some leaves are wide and others are narrow. Some have points while others may be rounded. How many different kinds can you find? Okay, so on this page, we talked about how leaves can have different sizes and shapes. Just a few weeks ago, all the leaves were green. Back in the spring, the tiny new leaves uncurled from their buds. The green color in the leaves helps them to absorb or hold sunlight. Chlorophyll gives the leaves their green coloring. Chlorophyll is a natural coloring called a pigment. So what season did this page talk about? Just a few weeks ago, all the leaves were green. Back in the spring, the tiny new leaves uncurled from their buds. Tell me in the Ed puzzle, what season is it talking about with leaves on this page? It's talking about spring, right? So in the spring, leaves come out of those tiny buds. They uncurl from those buds, and the green color that we see in the spring and summer is from chlorophyll that gives it its green coloring. Let's move on. Leaves are very important to the tree. They make a kind of sugar that is the tree's food. Leaves need sunlight, water, and air to make this food. The leaves work to feed the tree all summer long. The sugar is used by all parts of the tree: the leaves, branches, trunk, and roots. The food or sugar helps the tree to grow. Extra sugar is stored in the leaves. So, what season does the tree use leaves the most? What did it say? What season do the trees use the leaves for food? It says leaves work to feed the tree all summer long. The sugar is used by all parts of the tree. In the Ed puzzle, tell me, what season do we learn that leaves feed the food and help the trees grow? In the summer, right? So it told us in the book that the leaves help the tree all summer long. All right, as we move on to our next section of pages, I want you to peek at this chart. What are you noticing we're going to learn most about leaves in what season? Start thinking about it. In the fall, many things are changing. In many places, there is a change in the weather. There are changes in light and temperature. Inside the leaves, there will be many changes too. All of these changes bring about the beautiful colors of fall. In the fall, there are fewer hours of sunlight each day. The change in light tells the tree to get ready for winter. Winter is a time of rest for the tree. When winter comes, the tree will have to survive with less water and sunlight. So remember, our sections here are fall, winter, spring, and summer. During the fall, what is there a lot of changes in? Remember, it said there's a lot of change in weather, light, and temperature. The insides of leaves change. And what do we see less of during the fall? We see less sunlight, right? So during the fall, there's changes in weather. And what is winter a time of rest for? What gets to rest during the winter? The trees, right? It's a time of rest for trees. The tree begins to get ready for its winter rest. It needs very little food now, and the leaves stop their work. The tree begins to get ready for its winter rest. It needs very little food now, and the leaves stop their work. The life of the leaves is almost at an end. The tree no longer needs them. When the leaves die, they will fall from the tree. This will happen slowly over a number of weeks. As the leaves begin to separate from the tree, they get less water. Without water, the leaves cannot make new chlorophyll. The old chlorophyll begins to fade. The green color starts to disappear. So during the fall, what are leaves getting ready for? Tell me in the puzzle. What season are leaves getting ready for? For winter, right? So what happens to leaves during winter? They stop working, they stop giving the tree that food that it needs, and they fall off the tree and they stop getting that water in the chlorophyll, so they start to die. Now, other colors can be seen in the fall. Other pigments have been in the leaves all along, but they were hidden by the dark green of the chlorophyll. Once the green color fades, the yellow and orange pigments can be seen. These pigments give colors to the leaves of birches, poplars, and elms. Some food like bananas and carrots get their natural yellow and orange coloring from these same pigments. They also give color to some flowers. Maybe you can think of some. So what colors did we learn about on this page that we can see in leaves? What do the illustrations show us? Yellow and orange. Autumn leaves have other colors as well. The yellows and oranges have been in the leaves all along. Other pigments are made as the leaves begin to die. These new pigments are made from the extra sugar stored in the leaves. Sunlight causes the stored sugar to change to pigment. The new pigments make some leaves turn red, rust, or purple. The more sugar there is, the brighter the colors will be. Bright days and cool nights seem to bring out the best fall colors. So, what makes these rich colors of rust and purple? That extra sugar. So, the important information we learned is other colors in leaves were there all along. Sunlight causes change colors, and bright days, cool nights are best for the change in colors. Maple leaves get their red color from these new pigments. Many flowers and some foods, such as beets and radishes, get their color from these red pigments. The brilliant red of sumac leaves shows up only in the fall when these pigments form. Some trees, like oaks, make tannin in the fall. Tannin is not a pigment, but it does color the leaves. Some oak leaves turn a rich brown color in autumn. See if you can find some. You may still be able to see some green coloring too. So on these pages, what color did we learn we can find in leaves? Tell me in the Ed puzzle. We learned that maple leaves can turn red from that extra sugar and that sunlight. The changing colors of autumn leaves is caused by changes in weather and light. This is why the colors are not the same every year. The best leaf colors usually come with lots of bright sunshine and crisp, clear nights. Too much rain may make the colors dull. An early frost may kill the leaves too soon. Evergreen trees like pines and spruces keep their leaves all year. But in cool climates, other trees must lose their leaves to survive in the winter. So, what makes the changes in color? The changes in weather and the changes in sunlight. Some falls we don't see a change in color because there might be too much rain or it can get cold too quickly. After the leaves have changed color, they are ready to separate from the tree. When they are just barely hanging on, a little bit of wind or rain will make them fall to the ground. In just a short time, the tree will begin to look bare. Piles of dead leaves collect under the tree. Some will blow away, others will be raked up. The leaves that are left will begin to rot. Over time, they will become part of the soil. Rotting leaves enrich the soil with minerals the tree needs to stay healthy. So what do those dead leaves do? They start to rot, but they help the soil. When the last of the leaves have fallen, the tree is ready for winter. During the cold weather, the trees will be dormant or resting. New leaf buds have already formed. Next spring, they will open and begin to make food for the tree. But now in fall, it's time to enjoy the colors of the leaves. Beautiful autumn foliage can be seen everywhere. Only some places, such as New England, have displays of many colors. This is because the weather conditions there are usually just right, and there are so many different kinds of trees. So on this page, we learned that the leaves rot and fall off the tree in winter, but in the spring, what starts to form? The buds that help the leaves grow and start to make that food. Fall is a time to have fun with leaves. It's a time to take in the sights and sounds of the leaves. It's a time for jumping into great piles of leaves, and then sometimes a time for raking them up. Fall is a time to get ready for winter. The trees are ready. Are you? So in the Ed puzzle, I want you to tell me, what did we learn most about leaves? Tell me in the Ed puzzle. We learned that leaves go through lots of changes during the season of fall. They prepare their tree for winter. Maybe. So we learn from the text that there was a lot of information about the season of fall. Why did we learn so much about the season of fall? Because that's when the leaves go through the most changes, right? So this book gives us information about why leaves change color. And the season they change color in the most is during the season of fall. So that is why most of our information from this text came from during the season of fall. Now we're going to move on, and Miss Mason is going to move this down a little bit, maybe. There we go. And we're going to go back a page. We're all over the place, friends. All right. So as we read an informational text, it's important that we start thinking about if we are asked to write about a topic. So let's say we are writing a topic, an informational paragraph about why leaves change color. In our sentences, we have 3 parts, right? We've talked about our topic statement, and that tells us the main idea. It answers our question, and when we think of it like a hamburger, it is our top bun. Then we have that juicy middle of the hamburger, and that is the evidence. It's the information that comes from the book. What we are going to talk about today is adding a conclusion. A conclusion repeats what our topic statement says, so it keeps the idea, the main idea, in the reader's head. So let's look at this. We have 2 paragraphs. We are going to talk about the 3 parts of the paragraph. So in the first one, I am going to read it to you, and we're going to talk about if the topic statement's in the right place, if the evidence is in the right place, and if our conclusion is in the right place. Finally, it's time to jump into the piles of leaves. Fall leaves create opportunities for work and play. Working and playing with leaves can be fun. First, the leaves fall off the trees, then it's time to rake the leaves. I noticed something. I noticed that the word finally was the first word at the beginning of our paragraph. If I hear the word finally, that usually goes where? At the end. So I would probably move finally after the word then. Now, our conclusion uses the same words from our introduction, our topic statement, to reinforce our main idea. So if you look about this sentence, in this sentence, fall leaves create opportunities for work and play. Working and playing with leaves can be fun. What 2 words did you hear in both sentences that tell what you can do during fall? Work and play. So this sentence could be our topic statement. What could this sentence be? Could be our conclusion, right? Because it's saying again what we learned in our topic statement. Let's look at the next one. Squirrels collect food for winter. In fall, some animals get ready for cold weather. With this stored food, they will have enough food for the winter. They hide nuts and acorns. Fall is a busy time for squirrels. What did our conclusion tell us about squirrels? That it's a busy time, right? So squirrels collect food for winter. When do squirrels collect food for winter? During what season? Tell me in the Ed puzzle. What season do they collect food for? They collect it for winter, but they collect it during the fall. All right, Smarties. So I had to just pause this video so I can see you guys in our Google Meet. So we are going to hop right back into where we were at. So remember, friends, when we are writing an informational paragraph, we have to make sure we start with our topic sentence. 3 juicy details that go with our topic sentence, and a conclusion that tells us again what our topic is all about. All right, now we are going to go into a deep dive. And our deep dive is learning about the vocabulary words uncurled and disappear. So in Fundations this week, we're talking about suffixes, and suffixes are letters. It's groups of letters that go at the end of the word to tell us if we have more than one thing, if something happens right now, in the future, or in the past. Today, we are going to be talking about prefixes. Prefixes are letters or groups of letters that go at the beginning of words to change their meaning. So we're going to talk first about the word uncurled. Back in the spring, the tiny new leaves uncurled from their buds. What does the word uncurled tell the readers about how leaves grow? That they uncurl. Uncurl means to straighten or flatten something. So it means that the leaves come out of their buds during the spring. Now, uncurled has a prefix at the beginning, and the prefix is un. If un is added to the word, it says that something is not curled. So uncurled means it is not curled. If I add un to a base word, so curl would be the base word. If I add a prefix to the word, it changes the meaning. So if I add un to a base word like happy, that means I am unhappy. Unhappy means I'm not happy, or means I'm sad, right? So unhappy is not the same as happy. If I'm unhappy, that means I'm not happy. If I add un to the word done, it becomes undone, and that means not done or not finished. All right, we have another prefix we're going to talk about with the word disappear. The green colors start to disappear. What does the word disappear tell readers about how leaves grow? It tells us that our leaves stop growing during the winter, right? So they stop growing really during the fall, but they start to lose that green color during fall going into winter. What does disappear mean? It means to be not seen or unseen. Ooh, those two words mean the same. So when we see dis in front of a base word, so appear would be the word that I start with, and dis would go in front of it. Dis added to the base word to say that something is not seen. Appear means to see something. If something appears in front of me, that means I see it. So if I add dis to a base word like the word agree, that means I disagree or do not agree. If I add dis to like, it becomes dislike, and that means do not like. All right, Smarties. So we have learned so much today. It has been a long lesson, but good job keeping that growth mindset. Remember, good learners do hard things, and I will see you guys tomorrow with a new lesson. Try to find some words in some books that you read that have prefixes dis and un in it. All right, guys, I will see you very soon. Have a wonderful time learning. Bye, guys.